Ungrateful people will hate you for a single mistake you make. It's only ungrateful people who will hate you for a single mistake you make. And they will forget about the 100 good things that you have done for them. You will do a whole lot for them, but the little mistake you do in life, they will hate you for that. Remember that it is once said that women's loyalty is tested when her man have nothing. To test a woman or a lady's loyalty to you is when you have nothing. When her man have nothing, that is where you know her true colors or her loyalty to you. And a man's loyalty is also tested when he have everything. When a man have gained a lot, have a lot in the pocket, have saved a lot, have gained a lot, that is where you know their loyalty to your friendship to them or their friendship in the relationship you have with them. So if you want to know the loyalty of a man, is when he have everything. Only the wise will understand this. When you believe in yourself, you don't need to convince anyone of how great you are. You don't need to convince anybody to see or to observe how great you are. There is no need to convince anybody to observe how great you are. But when you believe in yourself, that will speak for itself. When you are content with yourself, you don't need the approval of anyone else. And when you accept yourself, the world will also accept you. Yes, you need to know this. There is no one like you, and there have never been anyone like you. You get it? There is no one like you, and there have never been anyone like you, and there shall never be anyone also like you. Therefore, know yourself, believe in yourself, because authenticity is everything. You need to know yourself and you need to believe in yourself, because authenticity is everything. Thank you for watching, and my name is Nino and this is Need TV. Please follow me on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and any other social media. Thank you for watching me, and see you on my next episode.